Welcome back. The Boston Celtics really have some things to figure out in the rest of free agency. But before we get into that, if you like my stuff, make sure you subscribe, please. Like and comment what you think about any of these topics, anything you would like me to make a video on. But yeah, the Boston Celtics. If you guys know, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I try my best, and I think I do a decent job of not being very biased when it comes to this because I really don't like to watch like I love what basketball is, what I watch, what everything I follow, but I love not just watching my team, and I like talking about every team, and I don't like to bring up the Celtics a lot because they're my team. I don't want to seem biased, but there are some times where I want to make videos on certain teams, and this is a team right now I want to do. Boston Celtics have already traded Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis this offseason. And we're not even at the real start date of free agency yet. I believe that's not until I don't know. It's either the first day of July or like the 6th of July, something like that. Go check. But the Celtics depth um as of right now. Point guards, we got Peyton Pritchard. At shooting guard, they have, I mean, Derek White, Anthony Simons, Baylor Scheim, and the two of the rookies we drafted so far called Hugo Gonzalez or Hugo Fernandez and Max Shulga. Small forward, we have Jalen Brown, Sam Hauser, Jordan Walsh. Power forward, we have Georges Niang, Xavier Tillman, Miles Norris, and then centers we have Neemias Queta and Amari Williams, who we also just drafted last night in the second round. Free agents currently: Luke Cornett, Al Horford, Torrey Craig, all unrestricted. Drew Peterson's restricted, and JD Davidson. It says club. Not too sure what that is. And obviously, Tatum is pretty much out for next year. That roster went from like the last couple of years to one of the best in the league, if not the best starting lineup and all. I don't like that. I don't like this lineup whatsoever. Even if we do bring back Luke Cornett, Al Hor, whatever. Not a fan, man. I like the Anthony Simons, but all as of rumors right now, the Celtics seem like they are trying to reroute Anthony Simons again to get off more money, even though they are currently below the second apron. They saved like 200 million in luxury tax money. Um, but the Drew Holiday trade, they got back Anthony Simons and is it 2 second round picks, I think? I don't have it right up in front of me, correct me if I'm wrong. Anthony Simons, I wasn't expecting a talent of Anthony Simons to come back in the door for an aging Drew Holiday who's on a long contract with a player option at the end. I just wasn't. He fits Celtics mode of I believe he's has one of I don't know how to word this. He is one of the players that has the most games making 9 or more three-pointers in a game. I think he's like 6th on that list. Um his 7 attempts per game I think is the like a top 5 amount since 2021. He's 26, so he's not necessarily old. He's also on an expiring deal, so he could potentially rework that if he stays, of course. And then the Porzingis trade, man, that Porzingis trade hurts, dude. A second and Georges Niang. I'm not a Georges Niang fan. I'm just not. It's nothing against him. I'm just not a fan of his game. Not a fan of his game. Not a fan of how he plays. Um, and he's a Massachusetts native, so that's great for him. But I mean, if you're talking about, say Anthony Simons stays here, Anthony Simons and Derek White, or Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, whatever. Jalen Brown, Georges Niang, and Al Horford. Now, granted, the offseason is not over. I know that. It is not over. This is not the team we're going to end with. But I don't know. I'm not the hugest Luke Cornett fan either. I understand what he did for us. I'm just not the biggest fan of his either. And then bringing back Al Horford, that center rotation is nasty, man. That center rotation is gross. Al Horford is great, but bro is pushing 40. He can't be playing 25, 30 minutes a game. He just can't. Luke Cornett and Neemias Queta are not starting centers. And I know this will not be a year of winning for the Boston Celtics. With Jason Tatum out, I would expect, if we're looking at things how they are now, I don't think they're higher than the fifth seed. I don't think they're higher than the fifth seed, which is saying something. But the East is dismantled for the next season. Dame out, Tyrese out, Tatum out. Um, the East is going to be dismantled. We might see somebody in the finals that had no chance of making the finals. We might see people in the Eastern Conference Finals that it's like, how are they there? The East is complete. The door is as wide open as it could be. There's not even a door. The door is not there. Anyone could just walk in, and I wouldn't be surprised as of right now. But I don't know, man. I wasn't a fan of our draft either. Granted, we had the 28th pick, and then we had the 46th and 57th pick after we traded the 32nd pick. But I don't know. And I don't have the answers, of course. I'm not a GM. So this video is not going to be very useful, but I'm just saying, like, I was hoping in one of these Drew or Porzingis trades we would get back a I don't know. Not necessarily a talent, but like a prospect that either couldn't get minutes on his team or a young player that just feels out of place in his current team. And Anthony Simons isn't out of place. He's also not necessarily a young player, I'd say. But if he's getting rerouted, there are teams that really would want Anthony Simons. I hope we can. It's not just like if he goes to Miami, I hope it's not Duncan Robinson and a lottery protected first round pick in 2031. I just hope it's not. I want something where it's like, um, I want to be like, okay, we have something to look forward to. We can build with this, whatever, whatever. And who knows, maybe Jordan Walsh, Baylor Shireman, whoever has a knockout of a season and really improves after not getting many minutes in their first couple years. But I just don't. I didn't want those trades to just be like we just take the salary that works. And granted, Georges Niang and Anthony Simons are expiring deals, but and dare I say it, for all the Celtics fans that are watching this video, I am team trade Derek White. I listen. I know what Derek White is. I watched pretty much every Celtic game I could. Derek White is, hold on, let me just make sure this is correct. Um Derek White, he is about to be 31. So that means his whole this whole next season he'll be 31. Then when we come back, he will be 32. Do we want to deal with if Derek White in 2 years when we're ready to compete, and we probably aren't going to be competing the first year Tatum is back. I would assume we have things to figure out with Tatum being back, see how good Tatum is, see how good whatever. Um and Derek White's I don't know what Derek White's contract is. I think it's big. I think we just extended him. Yeah, we just extended him. So he's locked up, but trade him while his value is hot, man. The things you could get for Derek White, I kind of wish I saw things that were like a bunch of top 10 teams in the draft were, calling about Jalen Brown and Derek White. Jalen Brown, I think, is a reach. I don't think they should have done that unless they got if the San Antonio Spurs offered us the second overall pick, Jeremy Sohan, and salary to work, I would have thought about. I would say think about it. And then future picks too. But Derek White, I think you got to trade him while he's hot because I don't want to go through this with Drew Holiday. We got a good return for Drew, but we might go through the same thing with Derek White and the things he did. It was great, but give him to someone who really needs him. Get back a haul. We saw Desmond Bain go for 5 first round picks. We saw Mikal Bridges go for 5 first-round picks. Derek White's better than both of them, I think. Obviously, Desmond Bane's probably a better straight up scorer. What Mikal Bridges is taller, but like Derek White's a better player. I think if you put Derek White, Mikal Bridges, and Desmond Bane, if you did that start bench cut thing that people do, I think 95% of people start Derek White. He will fit on any team. He would be so valuable. Now, maybe I'm a little more against it now that we're out of the draft, but if someone gives you a haul, I would think about it, man. I don't think that should be off the table. But I don't know. It's not looking great. I hope we get a center that will be like serviceable because if you look before the Drew and Porzingis trades in the Celtics, like Al Horford was doing a lot of that. And we had Robert Williams who made an all defensive team for us, but really haven't had a like top of the line center. Like if I go through some of these Boston Celtic teams, like before this. So in 22-23, um our centers were Blake Griffin, Al Horford, Luke Cornett, Mike Muscala, Noah Vonleh, and Robert Williams. The season before that, where the Celtics made their first final, Ennis Freedom, Daniel Tice, Robert, and granted, some of these guys like Tice and whatever did their thing for us, but like none of these centers other than Robert Williams and obviously Jalen Brown was a thing. Like, and then we go 21. Taco Fall was here. Tristan Thompson, Mo Wagner played for us for 4 seconds. Like these just aren't great center rotations, and they made them work for sure. But like Vincent Poirier, how many of you remember him? Then we're getting to early Robert Williams. Aaron Baines was here. Greg Monroe. Like these center rotations just aren't great. 2018, Tatum's first year. Pretty much the same. Daniel Tice, Greg Monroe, Al Horford. You go back to Jalen Brown's rookie year. Al Horford, Kelly Olynyk, Tyler Zeller. I mean, I'm sure I could do this for a long time. 2016 was Kelly Olynyk and Tyler Zeller. Granted, we had like Amir Johnson, Jonas Jerebko, but the centers hasn't been a thing that the Celtics have just like always took. It's never really been their guy. Like this, the center. I don't know. It's hard to word because it seems like I'm shitting on those other players that played center for us. And obviously, we made some finals. We won a finals. We had some good playoff runs with them, but that center position is gross. That power forward position is gross. Georges Niang and Xavier Tillman. It's bad, bro. That front court, other than obviously Jalen Brown, I'm also team if someone's gonna offer us a first round pick, get at Sam Hauser. You can go, man. We're tearing. We took Drew and Porzingis are already gone. I'm down for selling while Tatum's out. Recouping our assets, and then next year going for whatever. I don't know who's gonna be a free agent next off season, but there are some players here that I think they could really, if we really wanted to, we could bottom out. Jalen Brown could go for an all NBA season, whatever, but we could really bottom out and go for a lottery. I think we have, before I put that in the air, let me check to make sure. Let me check to make sure that we have picks next year. Let's see what our picks are next year. So we have our own first round pick next year, and we've got 4 seconds as of right now. There's a world where you could bottom out, right? Now, granted, you don't want to put Jalen Brown out there with a bunch of G leaguers, but like, I don't know. I'm not again. I mean, I'm team keep Anthony Simons. Maybe let him go, depending on how this year goes. Since he's a free agent, you can let the money completely go. Or you could keep him, rework his deal if you like him. Now, granted, that would suck for either him or Payne Pritchard because one of them would probably have to go off the bench unless you're starting Pritchard, Simons, Derek White, and Jalen Brown at the 4. I'm sure there could be lineups that are ran like that at times, but I then can't imagine that's our starting lineup. I don't know. They got things to do. Obviously, the offseason's not over, but that team really went from in 2 days, like, "Oh, yeah, that lineup is like, best starting lineup in the league," to, "Oof." I really hope that, Brad Stevens is still cooking up some things in the front office over there. But of course, if you like my stuff, subscribe, please. We're trying to grow bigger and bigger. Like and comment what you think about this video, of course. And thank